Today we're going to be talking about hair loss versus hair shedding, my guys. You need to understand this because there's a lot of things and there's a lot of people saying a lot of crazy things, but you need to understand the real deal, what's really happening when you're shedding, what's really happening when you're experiencing hair loss. With that and more here at the Hair Wire. And welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Hair Wire. I'm your host, Sergio Cardona, alongside with Bisan Dibs. How you doing, Biz?
Good, good. Thank you for having me today. I'm so excited. We are missing one of our team, Kerry.
Yes,
He's
yes.
having some family parties going on. And yep, happy Thanksgiving for everybody.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. It's a brand new year. Things are moving on. Well, we're finishing this year, so we're about to enter a new year. I'm already celebrating the next year. Sorry.
You're a hopeful, positive person.
I have to be because I want to be done with this year so I can start with a new one.
Take it easy. It's okay. It's okay. It's about the journey.
2024 out. I want you out of my life.
It's about the journey. It's about the journey.
I mean, some years are very interesting. Some years you learn a lot. Some years are more heavy on your soul, while others are just very up to you.
Yeah.
So, I want the 2025.
Okay. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. It's going to be there.
Oh yes, it's gonna be there. So, Biz, let's start with something simple. Let's start defining the concepts of hair loss, hair shedding, and what are the difference between those?
Okay. So when we talk about hair loss, that means can you see me properly, or it
Yeah.
is just my computer? Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. I saw myself. So in any case, hair loss basically is a little bit different than hair shed. Hair shed, the characteristics of hair shed is when we have like the actual hair strands are coming out. That doesn't mean that your follicle has been affected with whatever hair loss, alopecia is causing that. So when we're talking about hair loss in particular, we are talking about, for example, androgenetic alopecia, scarring alopecia, alopecia areata. All these are kinds or types of hair loss where the hair follicle itself has been damaged. And it has been damaged due to different triggers, of course, depending on what type of alopecia we're talking about. However, when we're talking about hair shed can be, we all will experience throughout the year hair episodes of hair sheds, right? But it does not mean we're having hair loss. It means hair shed can occur because of seasonal changes, because of allergies a person can have, because of an illness that you have. Basically, the characters of telogen effluvium combines hair shed and hair loss at the same time. Telogen effluvium, as you all may know, that telogen effluvium happened because of a trigger: illnesses, postpartum, childbirth, which is postpartum, hormonal imbalances, and nutrient deficiencies, any of the trigger. So it will cause you a kind of alopecia that is called telogen effluvium, that is characterized by excessive hair shed for a very short period of time. That is hair shed. That means the hair follicle is still good and intact. The hair growth cycle has been compromised. However, when we go to scarring alopecia or like androgenetic alopecia, we don't have hair shed. We have hair loss. Means the follicle itself has been damaged. And that's why the treatment for both are different. And that's why when we talk about telogen effluvium and hair shed, it is more traumatically, traumatizing more, because the amount of hair shed is massive versus the amount of hair shed when you go through androgenetic alopecia or any kind of scarring alopecia. Now we're talking about the acute phases of telogen effluvium. When we take about the chronic cases of telogen effluvium, here we're entering the territory of hair loss, because this damage of the hair cycle, or like compromised hair cycle in acute telogen effluvium, when it become longer and longer and longer periods of time because of the triggers that are chronic right now, like chronic illness, then we stopped. We are not only compromising the hair cycle, we're going to a place where we're damaging the hair follicle because of the mechanism of wear and tear.
Very
Make
important
sense?
over there. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people unfortunately don't realize the difference between one and the other, and unfortunately, they speak of it as if we were the same thing, and it isn't. Um, you might be experiencing hair shedding, but not necessarily hair loss. You might be experiencing hair loss without hair shedding, and
Right.
usually hair shedding leads to hair loss.
Exactly. That's in very simple terms. Exactly. Thank you. And I want to say that hair shed is normal and is temporarily and is okay. We usually the hair follicle will come back out, like will come back healthy, fine, everything is good when the period will end. However, hair loss is not temporarily, and it could lead to more damage
Yeah.
if you don't catch it early on.
Yeah, that's the difference. A lot of people become frightful when they experience, mild hair loss. And when you're shedding heavily, for instance, if you're experiencing intelligent fluvium, yes, you might see some hair loss at the beginning, but once that hair shedding stops and the follicles re-engage into hair growth, then naturally you will see that those parts, those spaces that were created, those hair loss areas that were created during the telogen effluvium phase, basically they start diminishing because you start seeing new growth and you start seeing, of course, that you're getting your hair back. So it's done. It's not like it is permanent. But as you mentioned, if the condition progresses, that's when it becomes dangerous. Because unfortunately, if the hair loss is not properly managed, that's when the follicles, unfortunately, they start to miniaturize and finally become cicatricial. And that's when we get hair loss forever, where those follicles disappear from the scalp and you're not able to regain that hair anymore. The one that was lost because the follicle becomes cicatricial. Now, something that I would like to add on it is that because of it, it does not necessarily mean that everything that you have lost today you're not going to get any of it back. That's one big misconception because you have to realize yes, I may have lost, let's say, 30% of my hair today, right? And my follicles have become miniaturized or become cicatricial in around 10% of that. So it means that what? I still have a 20% where I can regain some of the hair that I just lost. So if I can re-improve, I lose 30, 10 are gone forever. So 20 are still available. They're still viable follicles. That means that I can regain some of that hair. Then is it worth it for you, to try something to at least regain that hair back? I think it is a good idea. It is something that you should try, something that should not be tossed away lightly. Unfortunately, a lot of people, Biz, and you know this, a lot of people, they become so desperate and they become so hopeless about it that they just they just quit and they
Yeah.
say, well, I'm not doing anything anymore. I just lost my hair. I'm not going to deal with it. If I'm bald, I'm bald. That's it, because they do not know that there's still a chance for them to
Mhm.
regain some of the hair that they lost. And it may not be the full head of hair that they had, but at least you are in a position today where you can still reach some of the hair back. And I was thinking about one of those odd cases that I had, and I say odd cases because it was one of my professors. It was
Interesting.
one of my college professors, and he came into the clinic. He has been balding for 30, 40 years, and when he came to the clinic, I said to him, you still have some hair, a lot of fuzzy hair, like peach fuzz type of hair. um, if you want to try, we can try. And we did, and we regained some thickness, we regained some hair. of course, there was no possibility that we will regain a lot of hair because the percentage of follicles that have become miniaturized and cicatricial was pretty high. So, in that sense, we already knew beforehand that we were not expecting a lot of new hair, but just to see if something could grow out of it. And it did. It did. We saw some great results on it. And I might look at the pictures later on and might present it to you later on. But the thing is that um, as long as a follicle is still active, you can still regain some of the hair that you lost.
Yep.
And that's key into the process. That's why you should never lose your patience on it, or quit on it. If you still have the resources, fight to it, fight to the end, and do what you can. Now, I understand for a lot of people, resources might be limited, and I can understand that. But even if your resources are limited, at least try to gain as much knowledge as possible, and work with the tools that you have available to you. If the only tool that you have available to you is your will, then grow some will.
Yes.
Grow some will, and fight for it. How? Eat right, manage your stress, work with your doctors, make sure that you're taking your medications if you're on any type of medication, and at least follow a proper plan to at least use the best shampoo that you can get, considering the type of hair that you have, the best conditioner, and so forth. Try to get a line of products that will align to the purpose and the functions that needs to be managed on your hair scalp, even if it's not the best, but the best one you can get.
Correct. Very correct.
That's a whole difference. It may not be the best in around the world, but it's the best that you can get right now because it's what's on budget for you. Then that's fantastic. Let's do that. Let's do that. um, I'd rather have the 50% of something than 100% of nothing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to talk about what you just said 100%. I want to talk about the viable follicles, especially when it comes to secretional alopecia. I send you a picture right now on your phone, Sergio. If you don't mind, put it up for our audience. I want to give the audience
Oh yeah.
hope. I want to give them a visual of what you just said 100%. Exactly. This case is a scarring alopecia case. It's called a secretial centrifugal scarring alopecia case. This lady went to one of the top dermatology clinics in Florida. Not even in Florida. This is one of the top nationwide. It's actually called Mayo Clinic, if you know about it. Uh,
Hmm.
they told her, this lady, that she has secretial centrifugal alopecia, and these kinds of alopecia, since are secretials, means they are dead follicles. Nobody will bring the hair back. That is no hope for you. Go home, deal with it. She dealt with this look for the past. Thank you, Sergio. She dealt with this. She dealt with this condition for 20 years.
Wow.
Right. 20 years, all the viable follicles are on her head, but nobody thought to activate them. Nobody thought to test if they are actually viable or actually secretial. Now, not all of them are going to be alive 20 years later, but some percentage of them will be alive 20 years later. So I'm trying to say to the audience here, when even if you have secretial alopecia, you can bring your hair back, or at least, as Sergio said, percentage of the hair back. So when we worked on this lady and we opened the viable follicles, we stimulated the viable follicles. What happened? Percentage of that follicles came back to life,
Yeah.
and with her curly hair, and because her hair is curly and thick, like she has a very thick hair strand, it covered all that area, as you see. Even though Mayo Clinic themselves said this is a case of secretional alopecia, go home. This is a proof of what you were saying, Sergio.
Yeah.
Means if you have viable follicles, even if you have one, bring it back to life. Even if you have 10%, try. It's not good to quit at all. Otherwise, you're going to be living with your condition for the rest of your life, and that is totally like totally a choice of yours.
That's beautiful what you said, because if one single unit, follicular unit, is available,
Do it.
how many hairs in a single follicular unit are we able
Minimum
to
three.
produce? So if we can get 3 hairs out of a single follicular unit that was dormant, was not active, but it was still alive, heck,
100%.
that's hair. That's hair right there. It may not be much on an area where it's very diffuse, where the androgenetic alopecia or the cicatricial is very large. For instance, let me show you my professor.
You found it? Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
That is people like that is awesome. Maybe that's 20%, Sergio, of the hair came back, or 30%, I would say.
yeah, something like that. But at least you see, that there was a lot of hair that was gone. And why even try? Well, look at what happened when he tried, and
Right.
he regained some of it, and he regained some of the thickness. Now that frontal section, it really made bright his day and then some, because now he can
Yeah,
style it.
right.
Even if it looks very sparse and very far, one
Better
follicle,
than
one
nothing.
hair from the other, at least he's able to calm it, somehow. And that changes your face frame right there. Just regaining some of that hair on the front, that changes the frame on his face
Yeah.
immediately. So
Yeah.
that's something spectacular, something that people can hold on to, and at least you know get it back, get that hair back. Work on it, work for it. Don't delay, don't quit. Let's do something about it. Let's do something about it. And again, and I have to stress this again,
Yes,
because I get it. I get it. It's frustrating.
it is.
It takes a toll emotionally on all of us. And maybe I just show you a guy, but Biz just show you a female, and this female you know, was told 20 years ago that she has no hope. So for 20 years, nobody did nothing for her, because they told her it was helpless. It was something that you cannot do anymore. And how many weeks afterwards, Biz?
12
12
weeks.
weeks.
All what
Come
I did is
on. Come
Is
on.
I stimulated the viable follicles. I looked them on a scalp analysis. I says like, okay, we have here viable follicles in this area, on this area, and this area. All of this, if we stimulate them, we can combine. They will produce, like you said, 2, 3 hairs. Then it's gonna cover that area. Now in here we couldn't revive any of the hair follicles yet, but hopefully soon. But in 12 weeks, I revived all this.
The native hair, the native
Right.
hair, the ones that are still there. And
Right.
that's important, and that's a key part of it. Because if the native hair, the native follicles are still available, we can stimulate them and make the hair that it produces thicker, longer, is going to be visible, is going to make changes. So it's always something great to see. And at the same time, I want to talk about the people who actually regain hair and think that it's nothing. and
Yes.
I and I get a lot of that. I
I
get a
know.
lot of that.
I
People,
know.
that's why I take pictures in the first place, because it's not until they see the pictures that they be like, "Oh, wow, what amazing result I got." You just
People
walked in
forget.
here telling me that you have no results, and when I show you the pictures, now all of a sudden you change your mind. you
People forget.
know and the thing is, I get it because you have to think about it as if you're losing weight. Sometimes you're losing weight and you do not know that you're losing weight until someone else tells you that you have been losing weight. So the same thing happens when you're regaining your hair. You have been working on it for so long, and you don't realize how much you have come to, from where you started. you know and it is very rewarding to finally acknowledge precisely that you have done something right, that you were on the right track, that you're regaining your hair, and you are in a better place than where you were. Now, does that mean that am I going to get my whole hair back? That's a difficult question, but we need to understand, if the follicles have become cicatricial, I need to understand that there's a limit to what I can achieve. And by understanding that, I can readjust my expectations into the process, because that's one of the biggest problems here. Expectations. What am I expecting to regain? What am I expecting to see? Oh, I want all of it. I want all of it back. And if I don't get it all, then this did not work.
And I want $1 million.
Honey, you just got 20% of your hair back.
Yes,
That's something. That's
right.
worth something. Feel, feel happy, feel joyful about it. Why? Because if you didn't do the treatment, you wouldn't get that anyways. So you got it because you started doing something. So be grateful about it. And thank God. Let's be grateful. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving is a day to remember we're alive. We have different troubles and situations, but we're still breathing. And if we are breathing, hey, there's hope. Simple as that.
That is true. Yeah, I get it from Sergio. Sergio is my pep talk guy. Whenever I'm feeling down or I'm not feeling well, I just go to my brother Sergio. It's like, just give me the positive vibes, Sergio. I need to stand up on my feet again.
Hey,
That is
we all need a little pick me up sometimes.
right.
So, but it's about perception. Realigning our perceptions, where we at,
Yes.
where I was, and where I'm going at,
And
and
this is
what is available for me.
And this is our fight, Sergio, in a way. A trichologist fight, in a way. People don't take us seriously as they should. They think it's all like, I look at our group, like, we have a group online,
Hmm.
support group online on Facebook, and I hear every single day 2 or 3 posts. I took an appointment with a dermatologist. My dermatologist said this. My dermatologist give me 5% minoxidil. My dermatologist asked me to do a biopsy, and that hurts me so much. In a way that, with all due respects to all dermatologists, they know what they're trained to do, but
Hmm.
nobody is trained in hair and scalp disorders more than a trichologist. A trichologist, we lived all our lives just studying hair and scalp disorders.
Yeah.
And all of us, as we mentioned before, everybody of us has a niche. Some people do like gut health. Some people do epigenetics. Some people work with the biology of this of the body. We all actually do work to one purpose only: bring your hair back. And this is our fight, Sergio. People do not know, so till now, that trichologists exist. And that is the whole purpose of the hair wire to begin with, is to tell people, don't lose hope. We
Yeah.
trichologists can bring your hair back. Like this lady went to the Mayo Clinic Department of Dermatology. They said, no, we can't help you. But nobody explained to her that she needs to go to a trichologist, and until after 20 years later, she met me by chance. So that's what we want to tell people. Please don't do biopsies. Please don't jump into corticosteroids and cortisone injection. Please don't. There is way many, 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 many steps a trichologist can offer you before you lose hope and go to a dermatology
Don't
person.
jump into minoxidil.
And that too, yes, yes. I
We're
think
very
it is
quick.
a good pep talk before Thanksgiving.
We have a couple of questions here I want to bring from our audience. First of all, we have Spandam Roy. Um, asking, can anyone keep hair forever with your knowledge? This is a very interesting question. The real is, the real issue is, can, is it possible to
Okay.
keep hair forever?
Yes. So there's two parts of this question.
Yeah.
First of all, our hair, all this hair you see on my head right now, this is not the hair that I was born with. Hair goes through shedding and through cycles throughout our lives, so it keep renewing itself. The hair follicle is there, stay forever. The hair strands themselves, they renew by anagen telogen, the whole life cycle of the hair follicle,
Hmm.
right? So if you're asking about hair follicles, yes, your hair follicles are there forever until they die secretiously 100%, and they will be no more viable. Even though, like you said in this, that you saw earlier in this client, even though you don't see hair strands, the hair follicles are still there. The hair strands are a totally different scenario. This is one part of your question. The second part of your question is, can you keep your hair like as if you don't lose hair? No, you're gonna go through hair loss. Like television effluvium episodes usually takes at least 8 episodes per person's life. Just normal person life, you will go through 8 episodes of television effluvium, plus the hair shedding we were talking about in the beginning of the episode. We're talking about the seasonal shedding, the shedding after heartbreak, a shedding after an illness that is didn't confess itself as telogen effluvium yet, but it's hair shedding. So no, you this is all brand new hair. This is not the hair that you're going to keep forever. What you're keeping forever is your viable hair follicles.
I like that. I like that. And the other part of that question is with your knowledge. And in that area, I have to tell you, we have a bunch of colleagues who became trichologists just because they want to keep their hair. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have we
Mm-hmm.
have many of us right now who are
Mm-hmm.
people who study trichology and they're not practicing trichology because exactly, they just wanted to have
They
that
want to
knowledge.
study it.
Yeah, and use it for themselves and use it for their family. And yeah, I mean, with the right knowledge, are you able to keep your hair the best you can? I would say yes. Let me give you one example myself. I started losing my hair when I was 16 years old. My grandparents, both of them are bald. My uncles, they are bald. My father still had his hair, but I suffer from a lot of telogen effluvium. And when I was 16 years old, I had to, go to my father, Papa, I need to do something with my hair, but I was not disciplined enough. So I would keep more of my hair if I was disciplined back then because I did not have the knowledge. But as I grew and started getting more knowledge into it, then, and only then I started, regaining some of the hair back. And Biz can tell you because she knew me many years back, and back
Yes.
then I had less hair than what I have right now. So
Um, yeah.
knowledge is able to has enabled me to regain some of the hair that I've lost, some of the hair that I thought I was never going to get.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yes, having the knowledge can definitely improve the quality of the hair. Another question that I have, and that is not coming in right now, but I asked to the group, we're going live. So, and someone asked me if itchy scalp is a symptom also present in androgenetic alopecia. What do you think,
Yep.
Biz?
Yes, it is actually. We were just talking about that before the show. So when we have itchy scalp or burning sensation, it's one thing, and when we're having hair loss, it's another thing. Now, these two things can happen simultaneously or would happen versa in a way that now you have itchy scalp and burning sensation, but you're not experiencing hair shed or hair loss at this moment. And then maybe 6 months later, you're going to have vice versa. You have hair loss with no itchy scalp. So they are two separate conditions that actually feed on each other and can make things worse if they come together, or can make things better if they come like maybe separate in a way. So what
Yeah.
is itchy and burning sensation? Itchy and burning sensation is like, we know we have sebum. We are all having sebum. Our sebum is acidic, and it has to be acidic, otherwise we will have bacteria and fungus on our scalp 24/7. So
Mhm.
our sebum naturally is acidic, and it has to be that way. However, whenever any inflammation happen in our body, any hormonal imbalances, anything that's going on inside your body, it's going to change the chemistry of the acidity. Means it's gonna, the lactic acid and the squalene and all the chemicals that produce, that are forming the sebum, they become more corrosive, they become more acidic. The acidity level increases to a point where the scalp cannot tolerate it anymore. And from its word, it's called corrosive. Corrosive means it's gonna sit on your hair follicle and start eating up all the hair follicle anchor. This is when it becomes dangerous, and it has to be treated right away before it makes more and more and more damage. So this is where your itchiness and burning sensation coming from, is the extra secretion of sebum that is not at normal acidity. It's like way too much acidity or more acidity because of internal factors. Your body is not aligned. Means there's something going on. Maybe it's a fatty liver, maybe it's a chronic illness, maybe whatever, gut issues. And like when our systems having chronic illnesses, our body is acidic. And whenever our body is acidic, this is what in definition in functional medicine, that's you're sick. In definition of sickness in Western medicine means that you're having symptoms, means you are like, having, you're hospitalized. In functional medicine, and you 80% of us, our bodies are acidic
Yeah.
because of inflammation. And inflammation is a very short word to describe the silent symptoms inside our bodies because of chronic diseases.
And that's very important, to realize that as the composition of sebum changes, that pH in our scalp is being compromised and finally gets us to hair loss. Yes, so it is common to see, to answer our viewer the question. Yes, you may be experiencing, whether it's telogen effluvium or androgenetic alopecia, and in any other form of hair loss, you may experience itching or burning sensation. Now, the severity of this itching and burning sensation could mean that you're getting either some type of seborrheic dermatitis, some type of follicular erythema, maybe some pityriasis, maybe some psoriasis, maybe there are many things, trichodynia that can be also expressed into our
Mhm.
scalp. There are many situations that can arise because of that itching or burning sensation. So it would depend on how it's been manifested, how strong it is, that that could lead to a bigger damage. But yes, to answer the question in short, yes, you can experience that.
Yeah.
We
And
have other
you can experience itchy and burning sensation without even hair loss,
exactly.
without at all any type of alopecia at all, zero. It's just your
Exactly.
body is under attack because of some chronic thing happening, and that is the manifestation of it, that you're having scalp itchiness and burning sensation.
That's
Yep.
true.
And we have another
Catherine,
question.
yeah,
Yes.
Catherine asking a quick question. I notice more hair loss when I work out. Ah, is it the stress to my body, or is it become because my scalp is sweaty and dirty? Should I slow down on my workouts, or should I wash my scalp more?
That
That's a nice question.
that Catherine, that is an indication that your body has toxins built up in it. And this is like a pure indication. If let me ask you this question again. Let us say if you wash your hair this morning and then you went to work out and then you're still having hair shed, that is, if the answer of that question is yes, that is 100% you have toxicity in your body, and your liver is not keeping up with cleaning up your system. So what's happening is pushing all the toxins to go through all your sweat glands, to all your pores to come out. So when these, exactly to our point, when these toxins are getting out from your scalp, it is very acidic, not normal acidic, very, very acidic. It's corrosive acidic. And that's why every time you're sweating more and more, it's just eating up your hair follicles. And that is gonna, God forbid, but that is gonna make you lose more hair on the long run. Now, what you should do, you should, of course, wash your hair every day, your scalp every day and hair. Wash your hair and scalp every single day with a pH balancing shampoo, because now we know your acidity, the pH of your sebum is extremely acidic. You want to calm it down a little bit. You don't want to make it alkaline, otherwise you're not gonna clean up your scalp. You're gonna make it balanced, neutral, a little bit less acidity. That's number one. And number two, you should work out even more, to sweat even more, to get rid of these toxins while you're cleaning up your scalp twice a day if you can. Plus, you need to do a detox to your body from the toxins. Now, I don't know what kind of toxins you have, but you need to mobilize these toxins with, it depends on what toxins you have. I can tell you, if you tell me what kind of toxins you're like, I need to know. But you have to mobilize these toxins in your bloodstream, chelated with activated charcoal, so they can be safely getting like detoxified from your body. At the same time, you're gonna support your liver. At the same time, you're gonna work out each day. At the same time, you're gonna wash your scalp twice a day.
Love it. Love it. I hope you guys are getting all this good information, because Biz is throwing gold nuggets right here. Gold nuggets. That's what we're having right here. And I love what you said, instead of slowing down on your workout, I mean,
No, you have to
go,
make it more.
make it more, because the thing is, you want to remove as much toxins as possible from your body. But removing the toxins is just one part of the equation, because the other part is that you need to stop producing those toxins. Because why isn't my body producing those toxins? What am I doing to my body that is making it to produce even more of it? So by addressing those issues, I'm able to control the influx, and by removing the toxins, I finally get rid of it, all of it. And I see a sharp correction as the toxicity in our body is being removed. So it's awesome right there.
And she said, should I drink more water too? No. You know why? The more water you're drinking, more plain water you're drinking, you're just like drinking, flushing it out of your system without going to your cellular level. You have high toxicity in your body. You need to drink water with electrolytes, means potassium, sodium, and magnesium. When you drink electrolytes, please don't, not the Gatorade, please, for God's sakes. No, just, no. Just a glass of water, like water in a glass bottle with a squeeze of lemon and Celtic salt in it. That's all what you need every single day for the whole day, all day long, to help flush all these toxins out of your system, and basically hydrating yourself at the cellular level. Since whenever we have high toxicity in our body, too much plain water actually is not going to help. It's not doing anything. It's tricking you that, oh, I'm drinking water, I'm flushing things up. But what you're doing is drinking it and just peeing it out. That's all what you're doing. You need things to chelate to these toxins. You need hydration at the cellular level. When you drink water with electrolytes in it, they enter because of the osmosis. You know how we study physics in high school? Because of osmosis, they will gonna go inside your cells, chelate to the toxins, flush them out.
That's
All
the
day
proper
long.
way.
A bottle of water, full of water with lemon and Celtic salt.
That's it. Very simple. And by the way, she answered back. She said, it's gluten. I was diagnosed with
Of
celiac.
course, you have to be on a gluten-free diet. That's no brainer. Yes.
Another question here, again from Spandan. How can I win over inflammation, hair loss, and gain back my hair density? Because my hairline is the same, but my hair density increases and decreases every other day. uh, what can I do? I
You're,
want to take. I want to take this one. Because you
yes.
have to remember, guys. Once I am able to reduce the inflammation, I'm able to keep my hair. So that's the first thing. So how do I remove the inflammation from my follicles? Well, I need to remove the inflammatory inflammatory agents from my body so that they don't reach the follicle, so that my follicles do not create more inflammatory agents. So again, we have to work with the diet. I need to work with my stress levels. I need to work with my hormones. All of those things are very important, guys, and they need to be properly balanced. If I'm able to juggle that, into my life and move into the process, then externally, the only thing that I need to do is, just to properly remove the toxins that are in the scalp, hydrate, stimulate, and also I'm going to start seeing hair growth. Now, in terms of the density, here's the thing. After you experience hair shedding because a hair was released before its due time, considering that, for instance, males, our hair cycle is about 1,000 days, females about 2,000 days. So after 1,000 days for guys, once that time expires, my follicle will release the hair as a part of the normal, natural way, and we will start regaining a new hair. The new hair that comes, is going to be the same thickness as it was the last time before. But if my hair cycle gets shortened, so instead of 1,000 days, my hair falls at the day 500, it was shortened by half. So the next hair that comes out of the follicle is going to be thinner. So how am I going to be able to regain some of that thickness? Well, once I corrected the hair shedding, once that has been corrected, I have to wait around 2 to 3 hair full cycles, keeping in, the stimulation, keeping with the nutrients in my body, so that way my hair can grow back to its fullness, to the full thickness that it has before. So, and this is meaning that I'm addressing it. I just got intelligent fluvium and I'm addressing it properly. Yes, that's going to happen. But what about for those who have been experiencing intelligent fluvium for, let's say, 3 or 4 years? Those follicles have become damaged, some of those, and they might not be able to regain the fullness of the thickness that they had 5 years prior. So, at least, as I was saying in the beginning, some results is better than no results. So whatever I can get my hands on right now, that's perfect. Whatever hair I can regain from what I had, that's perfect. That's better than nothing. So considering that in the long run is very important. Again, we want to make sure that we are setting aside expectations to be realistic. We want to have realistic expectations into the process, because unfortunately a lot of people got great expectations about the hair, and when they come short they become frustrated and they just drop everything that they're doing even if they had good results,
Right. Absolutely.
unfortunately.
Yes. Yes.
So, and the other question says, so if it starts early, can I keep more hair for a longer period of time? Of course. The sooner the better. um, So we have another question here from Carla. Carla Moreno says, hello, my friends. Hello. My friend died 4 years ago. I'm sorry to hear that. My hair loss began. I had poor diet, poor coping mechanisms, light sun in 4 years, little light sun
Mhm.
in 4 years. I'm told my lab, that kind of jump. I'm told my labs are normal, but I'm also always puffy and fatigued, 60% hair loss. The past 6 months, I added probiotics. I have gone gluten. I say gluten
Free.
free. Yeah.
Mhm.
Processed food and 80% dairy free. 2 liters of water a day. Weightlifting. Daily 6,000 steps. Daily sun. Hair still shedding so much. I'm so bloated. This is all you, because this she posted on our group, the Italian Fluent support group. She posted precisely about this. So, Carla, I will go to our Facebook group, the Italian Fluent support group. If you're not a member, asked to be a member and read on this post. Now, Biz, you're here. Please
Yes.
walk us
Yes.
through this process.
Carla, you have got issues. So, so basically, if so, let us say the trigger was 4 years ago, and this is when the hair start like this is basically your trigger. Of course, poor diet and all the coping mechanism, and no sunlight means your vitamin D was very, very low. Of course, that's all will contribute to the telogen effluvium episode that you had. Now, your start, so even though with no sunlight, your labs came back normal. That's very interesting because I always said that also in our group, I said that a normal lab work in Western medicine means that you are not sick and you are not sick and you don't need to be hospitalized. That does not mean you're well. And that does not mean you have optimal levels to keep your hair or even regrow your hair. So when you say poor diet and little bit of sunlight means you have nutrient deficiencies, you have vitamin D deficiency for sure. So these labs should be run with a trichologist to look at them from a trichology point of view, because these numbers should be optimal to stop your hair loss. This is number one. Now you added probiotics and gluten-free processed food. That's all good, all good. But this is the reason I always say, if you are not gluten intolerant, why you want to stop gluten? Mm-hmm. So this is one part of the equation. The second part of the equation, if you have gut issues, yes, gluten will be an inflammatory trigger to your gut. But if you don't have gut issues, there is no reason for any person on this earth to stop gluten unless you are gluten intolerant. Now, when we're getting to gut issues, I know that a lot of people, maybe 60 to 70% of the population is having gut issues because of not extra gluten per se, but because how everything that has gluten in it, like breads or pastas or all of this, they have chemicals in it, they have preservatives in it. That's why when people eat pasta in the United States, they got bloated. Go eat pasta in Italy, you're fine.
Love
It's
it.
not. I know.
Well, we need to go back. We need to go
I
back.
know. I know. I know. I know. In a way that, gluten has been monsterized, like being the monster, basically that people are fleeing from, and it is accused to be the bad guy, not because it is the bad guy, it's because all the chemicals that has been used in all these processed food that has gluten in it, that is not a gluten. And also when we go gluten free, what kind of food we're eating? Non-gluten, like gluten free foods are actually have more chemicals in them than the normal food. So it's not the gluten, it's the chemicals inside the foods. Now, gluten-free foods, 80% to 90%, they have actually more chemicals in them. And that is causing your bloating. That is messing up with your gut problems. So whenever you are bloated, that means you are very, like you have gut problems. And when we have gut problems means we're not absorbing our nutrient properly, we are not digesting our food properly, we are not metabolizing fat properly. And for women, not metabolizing fat means you're not producing hormones properly, and that is going to be even a worse problem for women, even for guys, but even for women is more sensitive, especially if we are above 40. Now you don't have the resources to manufacture hormones and you're heading towards your menopausal years. That's a recipe for a disaster. You're going to lose hair, you're not going to regain any of these hair until you find the trigger of all of that. Let me rephrase that. Until you heal your gut, until you eat normal, proper food, until you address all your nutrient deficiencies, then when you stop feeling puffy and fatigued, you're gonna stop losing hair.
Actually, she added, yes, when I leave the country, I can eat whatever and I lose
You're
weight.
35. Ah, that breaks my heart. At
So yeah,
25, you should be brilliant, like you should be resilient, you should eat anything you want, you should be not losing hair. It is way too early. Now, see, I got emotional. Way too
yeah,
early for you at 25 to go through uh, any kind of hair loss. Even though when we have triggers like losing a loved one or a family member, your body should be resilient at this age to actually overcome this and have a very short telogen effluvium episode, and you will get out of it very, very, very soon and very quick. That tells me your gut is extremely not functional. You are not gluten intolerant. Your body is full of chemicals and toxins that you need to address. And drinking 2 liters of water is not going to help. As I said before to the other person who asked the questions, you're just is the water filtered or it's full of chemicals, right? If it's full of chemicals, it's even worse. Are you drinking it from plastic bottle? It's even worse, especially for women with hormonal issues. Microplastics actually
yeah.
cut the pathways to go to manufacture hormones. At this age, you should be very, very healthy. And I think it's not the gluten problem, it's your gut problem.
Definitely, definitely. So, Carla, uh, you got to talk to Biz. You got to talk to Biz. So,
It makes me so sad when I hear,
send us an email. Send us an email.
yeah,
info@thehairwire.com, so we can work on your case and talk more in depth
yes.
with Bisan. Uh, thank you. Our Caroline Walsh, she asked, had telogen fluid for nearly 5 months. I think I'm shedding is near normal when I count, but still feel so high for me. What? How do we know what's normal? I want to take this one
I knew
because,
that.
yeah, but because here's the thing: it's about expectations. So how am I going to know what is normal from what's not? Well, first of all is, when did I start noticing my hair loss? When I started noticing my hair shedding. So what amount causes me to react and say, oh, this is more than usual. So now it's been what, 5 months, and I don't remember what it was like before, but I know that the shedding is not as high as it was a few months back. So now that it's not as high, let's do something simple. And everyone, if you're listening, this is a very simple recipe. If you want to know your true number, if you want to understand how much hair are you actually shedding per day, very simple. It's a 2-day method. On day number one, what do we do? Before we wash our hair, we comb our hair. We lose every loose hair, it's gone. You wash your hair, you do a second wash, you use a conditioner. With the conditioner, you want to comb your hair. All right. So you want to detangle your hair with the conditioner. That alone, that's gonna free a lot of loose hair from your scalp, right? So we rinse that conditioner out. We go out, we dry our hair, we towel dry our hair, and then what? We blow dry our hair. So again, I'm styling, I'm removing as I'm drying my hair all loose hair, right? Every loose hair is gone by this. All right, excellent. What's gonna happen next? Day number two. I'm gonna repeat the same process, but make sure before you do that you clean all the area that you're going to be working. So if you're going to be on your bathroom, you want to make sure that your bathroom is hair free. You want to make sure that your brushes, your combs are hair free before you do the second day, right? And when you start the second day, now you're collecting. So you're collecting all of those pieces of hair. And now you have an amount of hair that you can actually count. And if that amount of hair is beyond 100 pieces of hair, then we know for certain that you're still shedding heavily. But if it's something in the neighborhood of 50 to 60, that's pretty normal. Now, if it's below that, I mean, you're
That's
doing
okay.
amazing. You're doing amazing.
Right.
So it's about understanding what's normal. So normal, again, anything below 100 could be normal, but here's a big but. If you have very little hair, if you have not too many hairs on your scalp. You know, uh, in those, the less hair you have, the less you're supposed to shed. The more hair you have, the more you're
Proportion.
supposed to shed. Okay,
Mhm.
simple as that. So if you have very little hair, then it's okay to, to shed around 15, 25 pieces of hair on a daily basis. That's normal. That's normal for you. But if you have a lot of hair, then, to get somewhere near the 100 pieces of hair neighborhood, yeah, that's normal. That's normal. And,
And how
again,
long
this
is
is this is average. This is average. And I'm just counting individual pieces because this is what important here. What you just mentioned, this about the length. How long is that hair? Because sometimes when I put all of the hairs together and I see this bunch of hair laying in a pile, and because it's long, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's way too much. Is
yes,
it?
very,
I just need to count the pieces
mm,
individually, because
yes,
if I have long hair, I should see a bunch. Even if it's just 10, 15 pieces of hair, they look like 100 because it's long. All right. So, same
right.
principle. If I have short hair, uh, 100 pieces, it looks really, really shocking. But with short hair, uh, 10 pieces, like nothing, like nothing. All right. So you think about 10 pieces of hair when you have short hair, it seems like one piece of hair for a long one. So yeah, that's the relationship that we need to make.
And also,
Uh,
it's proportion depending on where
yeah,
your starting point is. Like when I
exactly.
do that, one hair is fine.
And that's the thing, a lot of people freaked out if they see just one piece of hair, and they
But
keep
I just
pulling.
showered,
They
so that
keep pulling
yeah,
until they get a few pieces of
mhm,
hair.
yep,
And there's a difference between just, passing your
perfection
fingers
like
through
that.
your hair and just repeating and repeating until you get a bunch of hair. That's obsessive. You
And
need
don't
to
forget,
chill.
I just showered, so everything, the loose hairs are gone already.
Exactly. So, guys, it's about, managing expectations properly. Biz, we need to close our stream today. We're almost
Yes,
about an hour. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Biz.
yes, of course.
And as
It's
always, you're the
yeah, of
best.
course,
You're the
of
best.
course, of course. We're partners, of course, of course. Thank you.
I want
Um,
to thank our group, our people of the Intelligent Fluent Support Group. For all of you who are watching, if you want to be part of this group, you just go to Facebook, Intelligent Fluent Support Group, and answer the questions, because we do not let people in unless you answer the questions. So you answer the questions that we send in. And once you do, then we will consider your application. All right. So, Biz, anything you want to add before we go?
No, I just want to say, spread the word, people, please. All of you guys in the Facebook group or on the Hairwire YouTube channel, please share our information. Please share our YouTube channel, the episodes. Let people know that trichologists exist. This is the whole thing. That this is the whole purpose we're doing all of
Yeah.
this work. It's just telling people, please, we can help you. Please don't lose hope. Please don't go to a dermatologist the first thing. Dermatologists are great for later on, but before that, we can help without putting you under risk of any medication or any biopsies or anything. Please spread the word. People deserve to have good hair, and we can help them. So please.
Guys, visit our website, thehairwire.com, thehairwire.com. Visit all of our social media, like, subscribe, comment on all of our videos. We're creating content for you almost every week. So check out what we have already and see if you like, and share it. Share it with the world. We want to help other people just like you who are
Yep.
suffering from hair loss, and we just want to provide this as a free service. And just spread it to the community,
Yes.
so we can reach more people every day. And to the people of the Telefluvian support group, you guys, we're gonna have a yoga class.
Ooh.
Yes, Kelly Patrick. She's gonna be our yoga instructor, and we're gonna have a yoga class every month for you guys, because we need to chill. We need to
We
stress
need to,
down.
yeah.
We need to calm ourselves, and definitely a yoga class is appropriate for our group.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Believe me, it's gonna decrease your hair loss. Believe me.
Yes, yes. We're going to be posting very, very soon with our friend Kelly Patrick. Um, she was the administrator of the group, and now she's moving forward with other areas in our group, and she's wonderful. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that yoga class. All right. So love you guys. God bless you all. See you next week. Till then, bye bye.